Hey guys, welcome to a video where I'm going to teach you how to EV train and get your Pokemon ready for battle, at least against like 6-star raids, 5-star raids, maybe even ranked battles and battles online with friends, just so that your Pokemon can be the best that they can be. So I've already done this for one Pokemon, Dragapult in particular here. If I go and I look at its summary, this Dragapult is level 100. It's fully boosted up to the maximum things. It has the best IVs in every single slot. How do I actually show that from here? Okay, so from here I can show it. You can see it's got 4 best IVs and the other 2 are hyper trained. What hyper trained means is basically it wasn't best, but you give it a bottle cap and then it becomes best. It just says hyper trained because it wasn't naturally its best one, but it acts the same way as a best IV. Which basically means those stats are the highest they can possibly be for Dragapult. And if we go to its stats page over here, well, it's actually its move and stats. So you can see my current moves on the left side there: Dragon Darts, Phantom Force, Bite, Tera Blast. But from here, you can see the stats on the right side. My attack, my nature of this Pokemon increases my attack, but decreases my special attack. Now, since I don't use any special attacks, that doesn't matter, and I get to keep my attack as much as I can. And also, Dragapult has a very, very high speed and attack, and also HP, as you can tell. Now, if I press L to switch the graph here, you can see my EVs, my effort values. So now, alongside your IVs, which are best in their stats, your EVs basically determine how well that stat is used, or adds points to it, an extra effect. Now, I believe in total you can have 510 EVs across all of them. That is the maximum limit as far as I know. But I do know for sure that in a single stat, you cannot go higher than 252 EVs. Now, you will know that you've reached the maximum of 252 when you see the little stars appearing around the different things. Like you can see attack and speed here have these little stars. That tells me that there's 252 EVs in attack and 252 EVs in speed. So my attack and speed is further boosted for Dragapult. Now in this video, I'm going to show you how to do just that in multiple methods. Okay, so the first method, I want to quickly talk about getting your IVs to the best. Now, if you're going the breeding method, you can do the breeding method. I'm not going to cover that in this video because it's actually so easy to just get any Pokemon to its best it can be. You don't even need 6 best IVs anymore. The game has made it incredibly easy with this one simple feature. So right now we're in the Mesagosa over here, and there is a store that is located right at the bottom of the Mesagosa. By the way, this looks like something. If you put this upside down, this is a weird design that they chose here for the entrance. Anyway, the Delibird presence over here, not this one. Actually, I believe both of them have it anyway. If you go to that store, the Delibird presence, this is what it looks like when you get here. It has the actual Delibird Pokemon on the branding of there. It almost looks like Santa Claus kind of styled store, but this is Delibird presence. And in here, we're going to go to General Goods. In General Goods, the first thing you'll notice is bottle caps, sold here for 20,000. That is incredibly affordable. Not to mention you get these from Tera raids as well, from like 5-star Tera raids and higher. You'll have a chance of getting bottle caps. Now, bottle caps will change an IV of your Pokemon, like defense, attack, special attack, speed, from whatever it is to hyper trained, which equals best, remember? And since money is so easy to make in this game, I decided to actually just buy a bunch of these. Like, I've got 11 of them. I've already used some of them on the Pokemon I'm going to show you how to EV train in a bit. But if you go here and I go all the way to the bottom, you'll get the power items. These power items cost 10,000 each. And what these do is increase the EVs you get while that Pokemon is carrying it, right? So there's different ones here, like the weight one, for example, increases your HP stat, right? So when a Pokemon wears this item or holds this item and they're in your party, they will get +8 HP EVs added to them every single time you fight and beat a Pokemon. So +8. Now remember, the goal is to reach 252. So you basically do 252 divided by 8, but there is a little bit more to this equation. But before we get there into the specifics, I'm going to show you and demonstrate all in a little bit. But here is where you'll get all the power items. So like this one is for speed, for HP. This one is for your attack stat. This one is for defense. This one is for special attack. This one is for special defense. And the final one is for your speed stat. As you can tell, there are 6 of them as to match all 6 of your stats. Now, I have one of each of these right now, which is fine, but I'm only going to be training just one Pokemon at a time. You actually can train more than one Pokemon at a time. Now, what I mean by this is in your party, You can see here, I only have Dragapult right now. I'm actually going to train a Koraidon, well, my legendary Pokemon that has been readied. You can see here it's got its Hyper Trained and best IVs. It's super ready. It doesn't have any other, EVs added on. It's super fresh. It has not been used in battle. Ideally, when you EV train a Pokemon, you don't want to use it in any battle. You don't even want it in your party until you've EV trained it, because Pokemon that you battle in the wild add random EVs to your Pokemon in your entire party. So right now, I have Dragapult and Koraidon. Now every Pokemon I fight, they will gain the EVs of what that Pokemon represents. So for example, let's look at this Lechonk. Lechonk over here has a specific EV gain for after you fight it. Every Pokemon has a unique effect after you beat them. Now, Lechonk in particular has an EV yield of 1 HP. So if I defeat this Lechonk, I'm going to get 1 EV in the HP stat, and I don't want health on my Koraidon. Now, what you should know is, before we actually do anything, let's give an item to hold. We're going to start out with attack. I'm going to raise the attack. I think it's this one over here. So we're going to add the Power Bracer to Koraidon over here. Now just note that this only works for the Pokemon that's holding it, and you can have these on individual Pokemon at the same time, and you can own more than one of these. For example, if I was raising 6 Pokemon that are all doing attack EVs, I can have all 6 of them, each with their own Power Bracer in my party, all ready to gain an extra 8 attack EVs every single time I defeat a Pokemon. Now, the way this works is this doesn't change the yield of the Pokemon you're fighting. So if, in theory right now, if I fight this Lechonk and I beat it, if I attack this Lechonk right here, I'm going to get plus 8 EVs for attack, but I'm also going to get plus 1 EV in HP. So what you want to do is find Pokemon in the wild that give you an EV yield of the same type that you're trying to farm, because the idea is to get to 252. And if you have EVs in the other slots and HP, if you have like 50 there, you're not going to get to 252 on 2 stats. It's going to be limited. Like I said, there's only a limit of 510, I think it was. So you can't go higher than 510, and you can't go higher than 252 per stat. So you don't want to attack random Pokemon and waste the EVs and have to reset it. Now, there is a way to reset it. I should let you know you can reset your stats. It's just not a very fun way, because you have to use berries, right? So, for example, certain berries here, like the Kelpsie berry, when you feed it to a Pokemon, it will become more friendly, but it will lose base points, EV points, for its attack stats, so I can reduce the ones there. The problem is you're going to have to get these berries, and these don't seem super easy to get right now. The exact numbers, in case you are interested, the way this works is that if your EVs are over 100 for a specific stat, taking one of these berries apparently reduces them to 100. So if you had 252 EVs in attack and you ate one of these berries, it will go to 100 EVs in attack. And then every berry thereafter will decrease that amount by 10. So in theory, you would have to take 11 berries to reduce a stat all the way to 0. So it has 0 EVs, so that you can start raising it in a different way. This is for something like if you really had a shiny Pokemon and you've already been using it and you want to reset and fix the EVs and make it a competitive Pokemon. You will have to have 11 berries and feed it. It's just not a recommended method, because not all of these berries are super easy to get, like I mentioned before. So because we're looking for Pokemon that have an attack EV yield, I'm actually going to recommend checking the Pokemon database and searching Pokemon one at a time. The way we're going to do this is I'm going to actually search for outbreaks, right? So we got this outbreak over here. Now this one is a Magnemite, and I quickly just searched it here on Pokemon database, and it says its EV yield is 1 special attack. I don't want that. That's gonna give me the wrong stat. If I was boosting for special attack, that would have been great. There's another outbreak to the north over here, and this one is a Rufflet. Now Rufflet is actually perfect for this, because Rufflet's EV yield is 1 attack. Now you should know there are some Pokemon that have +2 or even +3 for every time you fight them, but the higher that number goes, the harder the Pokemon is to beat. Like, while we're on the same page over here, this Frostlass over here increases your EVs for speed by 2. So every time you beat a Frostlass, you get 2 speed. And if I had the speed power item equipped, I would get +2, +8 speed. So every single time I beat a Frostlass, I would get +10 EVs for speed. Now, before I do that, I'm going to show you the quickest way to do it, however the most expensive, is by going to the Ghost-type gym here in Montenevevra. Dude, this name over here in the snow region where the Ghost gym was. And from here, you can do two things. The first thing is the hyper training, right? So right behind the Poke Center here, there is a dude with an Aboma Snow, if I'm even saying that right. And he's like, hyper training, get it here. This is where you can hyper train your Pokemon. All you need are bottle caps and a Pokemon that's IV is not best or is just empty, right? So for example, I'm going to pick one here. Let's do this one over here, Qian Pao. I want to use this one because I'm actually going to upgrade this in the future. He's also one of the members I'll be using on my team. So defense, special attack, and defense there, right? You can see speed is already crowned, attack and HP are already best. So I'm just upgrading the defense, special attack, and special defense. Start the training, and that is how you hyper train your IVs. Now, in the same area, there is a store. Now, this store is also available, I think, at the school. Now, this store is called Chansy's Supply, right? Let me just show you on the map what it looks like and how it's spelled. So if I zoom in over here, you can see here, Chansey Supply. This is the name of the store. You can find it in a few places around the world. This is what it looks like. It has a picture of Chansey on the outside, and it's green and white in terms of the picture of the detailing of the store. Now, when you go in the store, you can buy some items that are going to help you. If you scroll all the way to the bottom here, you'll find the mints. Now, these mints are to change your nature. Now, remember when I showed you my Dragapult, which had increased attack, but less special attack? Your nature of your Pokemon is going to be the thing that affects these. Now, you can buy these for 20,000 each. It's to make it so that you have an increase in one stat, but a decrease in another. Some natures have, like, no effects at all, so you can keep it to, you know, the exact, like, you know, the way you just leave it, like, naturally. Or you can have it where one gets increased and the other gets decreased. It's up to you how you do this. Sometimes people like to do, if a Pokemon has a high attack, they like to increase that attack and downgrade another stat that they don't really care about. Like, if you're only doing physical attacks, you can sacrifice special attack because you don't need it. You'd rather increase your attack to have a less special attack, but you're going to hit physically a lot harder. So do your research and come check here on what you want which stat you want to grow stronger and which stat must suffer in retrospect. So just go through the list here and pick one. But also at the store here, you have these nutritious drinks. Now, these are a way to bypass doing Pokemon battles for EVs. If you buy one of these, you can see here they cost 10,000 Pokedollars. It's quite expensive. Each one here, when you drink it, gains or adds 10 EVs of a certain stat. For example, HP up will add 10 EVs for HP. Now, keep in mind, you need 252 EVs to increase a stat to maximum. That means if this only adds 10, you're going to need 25 of these. 25 times 10,000 is 250,000 HP ups. And you need to do that for two stats. So that's going to cost you like 520,000 Pokedollars. That's very expensive. In fact, that is exactly what I did with my Dragapult, but this time I'm going to show you how to do it with normal Pokemon. Okay, so I'm here at the Rufflet outbreak, and what we're going to do is we have Dragapult in our inventory, our party. Now, he's already fully EV trained, so it doesn't matter what I battle. He's not going to gain any EVs or get ruined in any way, which is great. So I'm going to use him and Koraidon. Now remember, every Pokemon in your party gets the 1 attack EV for every Rufflet you beat in battle. Now Koraidon's holding that power bracelet or bracer. He's going to get an extra 8 EVs in attack. So in total, he's going to get 9 attack EVs. Now I need 252, right? So 252 divided by 9 means 28. I need to defeat 28 Rufflets in battle. So you're going to have to keep track of which ones you defeat, how many you defeat. You should know that if you are planning to train more than one Pokemon in attack, I recommend putting all the Pokemon you want to increase their attack for in this party, all of them having a power bracer so that you can farm them up and farm all the EVs at once instead of having to do them a separate time. Okay, so the first thing is going to ruin your day. You cannot use the auto battle feature. You can't send out your Pokemon here to battle and get EVs. It doesn't work. So you are going to have to do this the hard way. And that is by running into the Pokemon like this and attacking it and beating it. So do this 28 times, right? Now you can actually count the PP of your abilities. That is 1 Pokemon down. If I walk into the next one over here, now, if I go to battle here, you can see my PP is down for Dragon Darts from 10 to 9, which means I've used 1. I've killed 1, or I've fainted 1 Rufflet, which means I've already gained 9 attack EVs. So do this until this number, or till these PPs go down 28 times. Remember, for every single Pokemon you beat here, you're getting 9 attack EVs, right? So buying the nutritious drink gives you 10. Now, essentially, every time I battle one of these, I'm saving myself from spending 10,000 Pokédollars. So see it that way when you start to think of like, man, this is a grind. Would you rather spend 10,000 Pokédollars for every time you beat a Pokemon? Like, logically, this is actually the easier method. And you can also do this with multiple Pokemon at the same time. All right, so I think this is my last one over here. You can see I used 10 out of 10 Dragon Darts, and I've used 14? No, wait. And I've used 17 bites. So that means I've used 10 plus 17, 27. I've beat 27 Rufflets for 1 attack EV from each of them, plus 8 attack EVs from the Power Bracer. So essentially, this will be my last one, and then we can go ahead and check Koraidon stats to see if it now has the shiny little mark at the end of it. Okay, so let's go into our party here. We go to Koraidon, check summary. We beat 28 of them. You go to the stats and you press the L thing, and you can see here the attack stat is now shining. It now has 252 EVs. It is perfect, right? Just like that. That is exactly what we needed to do. And now we just have to pick another stat that we want to raise to 252. Like I said, most people like to opt for attack and speed, but depending on what you want your Pokemon to do, for me, for example, I want this Pokemon, this Koraidon, to do well in Tera raids. So I'm actually going to opt, instead of speed, I'm going to go for HP. So again, to do this, what we're going to do is change the held item that Koraidon is holding. Let's go to the held items and find HP. So we're going to put on the Power Weight item and change it from the Power Bracer, right? There we go. Power Weight item is now on the Koraidon. It's ready to grow its HP stat more quickly. So there's 2 ways you can train the secondary stats. So we have attack that is fully boosted. As you saw over here, it is fully boosted, right? You can't increase attack anymore. But at the same thing, when you change the charm bracelet or the charm that it's wearing, right now we have one that increases our HP on Koraidon. We can either go out and find a Pokemon outbreak that has an HP stat yield, right? But I've already checked this world. There isn't an outbreak that has HP, unfortunately. So I would have to find 28 random Pokemon that give HP, like Lechonk, for example. I could do like 28 Lechonks, but that is going to take a long time to find 28 individual Lechonks compared to the outbreaks. Now, because I have attack stat already maxed out, these Rufflets, I can still attack them with my Koraidon and with my Dragapult in my party, but my EV gains will now be 1 attack stat, which is not going to do anything, so it's going to be basically be nothing, plus the 8 HP EVs I get from the Power Weight item. So when I attack these Rufflets now, I will get plus 8 HP to the EVs. That's it. There's no extra attack because it's not going to do anything. Now you might be thinking, oh, but now you have to attack more, right? Not really that much more. Instead of 28 of them, like on an HP one, I just have to beat 32. That means I just have to beat 4 more Rufflets. 32 Rufflets to get Koraidon's HP to 252 EVs. So I'm just going to go ahead and defeat 32 of them. It's just the simplest way. There is one thing that I didn't mention that you can also farm in the game, but it is not really worthwhile at all. It's probably the slowest way you can ever do anything, and that is by using feathers, right? So in your bag, alongside those nutritious drinks that increase the EVs by 10, you also have feathers. These feathers increase those EVs by 1. So for example, this clever feather over here, I've got 42 of them, increases the base points for special defense. That would increase the EVs by 42 because there's 42 of them. Now, you get these by random drops or from Tera raids, from Pokemon in the world, but you can also get them from a specific lake in the game. So all the way at the top left of the map over here, Castle Royale Lake, this entire place has these gold little specks that you can pick up while you're swimming in the ocean, or the lake, I should say. That will be feathers. So you can try pick them up one at a time, but just keep in mind you need 252 of them, which is a lot. So yeah, I just thought you guys should know about the feathers and how they work. All right, so let's see. I think I've killed enough now. Check summary. Let's go. Press L. There you go. Our attack and HP EVs are maxed out, and you can tell by the little sparkly stars all around them. Now, this does mean there are still a few EVs left. Remember, the total is like 510 or something, and 252 plus 252 is only 504, which means you can have some extra in some of the other stats. So in this case, you can control it. I mean, if you really want to min-max for 4 IVs extra in one slot, you can do that. And that is where you would use the feathers, to be honest. You would use feathers. So I'm going to use Swift Feathers, and I'm going to use them on Koraidon. How many do I want to use? I want to use 6. That is going to be the 6 extra EVs for speed, and you'll see it won't have any effect. It won't actually let you use it if you can't gain anything from it. The same with the items. Any of the items, the nutritious drinks or feathers will no longer work on a Pokemon that's EVs are fully raised. And that is how you fully raise an EV train, an IV max out with hyper training for a Pokemon to make them as best as they can be. This Koraidon is now ready. You just have to add on the moves that you want, and it is good to go. I hope you guys found this video helpful. If you do have any questions, leave them down in the comments down below. I do reply to every single one, and I'm always glad to help. So yeah, let me know if you were able to raise your Pokemon to competitive level. Let me know which Pokemon you guys are using. Which one did you first try to make competitive? And I'll see you guys in a future video. Thank you so much for watching.